This is my father. I remember him as someone who was very loving. My children are a bit like him, but I don't know where he is. On November 30th, 1957, I was 7 years old. My father was taken at 5 a.m. We weren't allowed to leave the room. We stayed in our beds, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, still nothing. He still hadn't come back. At 10 a.m., my mother sent us into town and told us, "Go see your uncles and tell them that your father left this morning at 6 a.m. with policemen in civilian clothing who know him, but he hasn't come back. Do they know something?" So we went to see one of my uncles who said, "Listen, he's not the only one. It happened to 17 people at the same time. It's for an inspection." But then there was nothing. Nothing. We went through some very difficult years, especially as children. Me, I was 7 years old. I met other girls who told me my father was put in prison too. He stayed there for 5 years. I replied, "But you still have your father. Even if he was there for 5 years or for 10 years, you still have him. You can't compare yourself to me." Or others who told me their father was killed by the secret army organization in the street. "Yes, but you saw the body. You saw him buried. You can't compare it. It's not the same thing." We're left wondering, where is he? It doesn't matter. I know he's not coming back, so it doesn't matter. But we would be able to mourn him properly if we knew where he was.
For a long time, we knew that this had happened to thousands of Algerians, but we had only heard of one person's story, that of Maurice Audin. The military knew that colonized Algerians were not like Maurice Audin. They were not Europeans with connections. In metropolitan France, it would fly under the radar. Their disappearances would not be documented. They would be easily written off. Thanks to information I discovered in 2018, we were able to investigate numerous cases, more than 1,000 people. We know they had been abducted by the army because their families had searched for them at the police headquarters of Algiers. We use the term abduction, you notice, not arrest, because it doesn't look like an ordinary arrest. When you know that at any moment, parachutists can burst in on you. They can come in and take you away to a secret place, do what they want with you, including torturing you. People quickly knew that torture was systematic, and assassinate you. Well, by default then, the whole population is being targeted, potentially targeted. That is to say, the whole Muslim population of Algiers was afraid.
Here we have the last documented cases, the last cases for which we have documentation. And we can see that there are sometimes very young men. The youngest...
No, the young one is in the photo. You passed him.
So he's the youngest of all of them. He was taken on the 14th of June, 1957. We continue to search through every document, bit by bit, one piece of information at a time. More often than not, we won't make progress on the precise facts of each case, but as we move forward, we will have a better understanding of the overall picture. In some cases, we confirm what was already known by the family. That is that, in all likelihood, one person died under torture or was murdered. His body was covered up or his body was destroyed. But that doesn't tell us what would really matter a lot to the family, which would be to know exactly where, how, and what was actually done with a person's body.
My name is Joao Samir, and this is a search for my uncle Joao Rabia, who was kidnapped in 1958 by the French army, along with several other people. I'm very moved, even though I never knew him, because I saw my father's tears when he looked at the portrait of my uncle and said to him, "You are gone, and you have left me all alone." I think my father suffered a lot. After independence, he searched very, very hard for his brother. And every time someone said that there was a mass grave somewhere, particularly in the east, in the Ores region, and so on, they called him to go and identify the possible remains of his brother. I don't ask for apologies and all that stuff. That's not important. What will that do for us? All I'm asking is, where is the body? Where was it put? Where was it buried? Where was it dumped? I don't know. That's all I'm asking. I hope that one day I will be able to say to myself, I managed to find where my uncle is, where he is buried. And if not, I'll pass this on to my children, to my nephews and nieces, who may one day pick up the torch, but at least I will have moved forward as best I could.